Hello guys, my name is Busara Naaman.
My name is Lucy Riley.
And my name is Robi Omondi.
My name is Winnie Lubembe.
And this is Straight from the Source.
It's definitely saucy.
So karibuni sana jamani, tunakutana tena katika episode nyingine, na bila shaka leo toka tunazungumzia safari zetu, jinsi tulivyojipata ndani ya tasnia ya wanahabari. Kando na hayo, toka tunaulizana maswali kuhusiana na matarajio ambayo tulitarajia tupokuwa tunaingia katika tasnia hii, na kwa ground mambo ni vipi sasa na tuko ndani zaidi ya miaka 10 na kuendelea. Na pia kitu kingine tulikuwa tunaulizana, ningependa sana kujua kutoka kwenu ni je, ungepewa nafasi urudi nyuma, ungechagua wanahabari ama ungechagua tasnia nyingine? Pengine ungekuwa daktari, polisi, ungekuwa dancer, ungekuwa mganga. Okay, sawa. So tulikuwa tunazungumzia hayo yote, na kando na hayo pia tulikuwa tunazungumzia tu safari zetu vile tulijipata. Pengine ulitaka kwa kitu kingine alafu ukajipata hapa. Basi hayo yote tulikuwa tunayafahamu. Lakini kwanza labda tu kuwajulisha tumeng'ara kwa hisani ya nani. Acha niwache Winnie atamke. Tamka Winnie, kazi kwako.
Bittiner Wear KE. Bittiner Wear KE. Kitambo used to say Bittiner. Bittiner Wear KE. Yes.
Haya basi, habari ndo hiyo. Kwa hivyo kama unataka kung'ara, kama unataka nguo, kina dada, basi kazi kwenu. Unaweza tembea katika mitandao ya kijamii na uhakikishe kwamba unajipatia nguo yako. Lakini pia kukukumbusha, tungeomba sana utufuatilie mitandaoni jamani. Straight from the Source podcast ama Straight from the Source katika mitandao mbalimbali. Nazungumzia TikTok, Facebook, kuna vile vile Instagram, YouTube. Kindly subscribe. Haya basi, moja kwa moja ningependa kuanza mazungumzo ama mjadala leo. Sijui nianze na nani? Nani atufungulie? Mimi mwenyewe.
Yes.
Okay. Kwa hivyo kuna swali ambalo pia ningetaka kujua. Muliingia hii journalism juu ya passion ama ilikuwa ni pesa? Manake mnafikiria huko utaenda kuwa milionea. La, kuna wengine wanaingia kwa sababu ni kitu ambacho wamekitaka. Haya, basi moja kwa moja labda nianze na mimi mwenyewe. Mimi moja nilijiunga na wanahabari kwa sababu niliona kwamba stories za kwetu sizioni kwa TV. Acha niwaambie, miaka ile ya awali 2000s, huo wakati 2005, 2007, 2000, hiyo wakati kulikuwa na clashes Tana River ambazo zilikuwa zinatokea. Kuna vita vya mara kwa mara, watu wanauana. Lakini nikiangalia kwa TV hakuna news za Tana River. Like si rahisi utapata story tu za Nairobi, miji mikuu, Mombasa, Kisumu. So nikawa naona nikipata fursa ya kuingia wanahabari, basi nitapata nafasi ya kuzungumza stories za kwetu. So ningekuwa correspondent Tana River, ningekuwa nahakikisha kwamba nawajulisha mambo ya kwetu, kwamba sisi ni walaji mamba, maisha yetu ambayo tunaishi.
Mbona unaanza na kutushtua? I know that in short, unajua kuna mtu labda elewi Kiswahili cha Busara ni kile cha huko. In short, you guys eat crocodile. Okay.
Tunakula
keep going.
Yeah, it's
white meat. Like fish.
Like chicken. Okay. Alafu ujue ngozi yake ndo ngumu. Na ujue ngozi yake wakati ule tulikuwa tunaikula kama snack. So ngozi yake ni ngumu, lazima uchemshe karibu siku 4. Kwa kuni tu kila siku unaendelea kuchemsha, alafu unaitafuna, inatafunika kama crisps hivi. So ile ngozi unaikula. Alafu mifupa yake tulikuwa tunazika ati kwa sababu usipoizika ni tamaduni tu. Usipoizika siku yenye utapita mtoni pengine, na unajua kule ushago kwetu tulikuwa ndio uende to the next village, hakuna barabara, ni kutumia ile boti. So ati kama umekula mifupa yake, mamba atajua, atakunusa and he will attack you for revenge.
Lakini Busara, utatuambia kwa nini hizi story hujatufanyia bado? Maana
the way.
Lakini nilipeana idea. Nilipeana idea ikafanywa hiyo ya ulaji mamba, jinsi tunavua, jinsi tunavyotengeneza. Nakumbuka nilipokuwa naingia internship, waliniambia tupatie idea, nikamwambia nataka tufanye story ya kwetu. So kulikuwa na mwanahabari alikuwa anaitwa Franklin Mashari, I think.
Yes, Franklin Mashari.
Alifanya story, alienda mpaka kwetu, akaenda kufanya story. It was beautiful. Jinsi though haturuhusi kula, achaneni na nyama za mamba na viboko na nini. We care about our animals. tuliacha kwa sababu mambo yamesonga. Though let's talk about journalism now. Sasa mimi nilipokuwa mdogo, yani kama Winnie aliposema ile episode nyingine, kwanza nilipokuwa mdogo nilikuwa napenda kusoma. Nikiwa nyumbani tunafanya Bible study. Nimetoka katika very Christian family. So ilikuwa kila wakati tunafanya Bible study. So kila wakati naambiwa Busara, wewe soma Biblia, tusome. Nikienda kanisani nasoma Biblia. Watu wengi wanapenda vile ninavyosoma. Wako like it's so nice to listen while I'm reading. Nilipoenda shule nilikuwa nasoma zile storybooks, especially katika shule ya upili, zile set books. Utengano wakati wetu na waziri wa maradhi,
waziri wa maradhi.
So nilikuwa nasomea watu darasani na kila siku watu wakiambiwa who is going to read today, watu wanaambia Busara. So nilikuwa napenda kusoma. So unapata ndio nikaanza kugundua kwamba mimi ni msomaji mzuri, na maanisha in future nafaa niwe msomaji. So hata nilikuwa naambia babangu, najua unapenda kusikiza radio sana wakati ule. Nikamwambia siku moja utanisikiza mimi katika radio nikikusomea taarifa. Kimchezo tu. Lakini sasa changamoto ndo hii.
Hey, what happened?
Sikupenda sana shule, yani maisha ya shule yalinichosha. So nilipomaliza form 4 nikamwambia tu babangu, mimi sitaki kusoma tena, yani na ujue nimefika form 4, mshukuru. Nimesoma mpaka form 4. Naomba mshukuru, maana yake kule tunakotoka pwani kwa ujumla, msichana wako akifika form 4 shukuru, maana yake wengi hawafiki kwa sababu mimba za mapema, changamoto mbalimbali ambazo zinatukumba wasichana upande ule. So nilifika form 4, mshukuru, mniache nifanye passion yangu. Passion yangu ni kudance. So nikaanza kudance traditional. I was a professional traditional dancer. Unaona vile kwa mfano Rais William Ruto akikuja Coast pale kwa ndege, mnaona watu wamevaa mahando wanamdansia. That's me. That's Busara. So nilikuwa na dance, but then nikarealize dance hailipi, na nikakumbuka naweza kusoma, mbona nisifanye wanahabari? So nikarudi kwa babangu nikamwambia, after 1 year of dancing, of kudansia wazungu and kudansia waheshimiwa, I was like, this is enough. Please I want to go back to school. My dad was like, okay. Wow. Turudi shule. Mamangu anasema you have to be a teacher, because nilikuwa mwalimu pia nilipokuwa secondary school. Nilikuwa nafundisha English na Swahili, fasihi, because I was good in languages. So nilikuwa nafundisha form 1s na form 2s. Na pia sometimes so my mother was like, I can make a very good teacher. So I told them I cannot go back to school. Unajua kwa mwalimu utabaki shule maisha yako yote. Na mimi shule ilikuwa imenichosha. So nikasema niwe mwanahabari ndo niwe nasoma taarifa and stuff. Wakanipinga kidogo, unajua walikuwa wanaogopa, unajua wanahabari sifa zao, ati tabia zao ziko hivi na utaenda kutoka mmoja wao. Nikasema mimi sitakuwa mmoja wao, mimi ni Busara na pengine nitakuwa Busara kivyangu. Na hivyo ndo nikaamua acha nifanye wanahabari. Ndo nikaja Nairobi, nikajiunga na chuo cha multimedia cha wanahabari.
It's so weird because you were for a while. I never knew that you were a teacher at some point. Like you would teach.
I would teach. Literally. Namwambia hamjambo. Mimi ni Busara Naaman, natoka form 4 West. Na leo nitakuwa nafundisha fasihi. Kwa hivyo tufungue hiyo setbook hiyo utasoma, alafu unaambia elezea maudhui. So kama hujui kuelezea maudhui inamaanisha kwamba unapoambiwa, yani sasa
hata hiyo maudhui tuliachana nayo huko.
Tafuta muktadha wa dondoo hii. Sasa inamaanisha uende katika hiyo dondoo alafu ulete, yani nilikuwa nawafundisha jinsi ya kujibu maswali ya fasihi. So that was me. So hizo vitu zote zilinileta katika wanahabari. So that is how nilijipata hapa. Haya, kwa sababu nikisema nitaongea Busara nitaongea mpaka kesho. You know Lucy Riley. Tukipatana tunaweza ongea mpaka kesho. Atenda kama Lucy tunataka kujua uliingiaje katika hiyo.
It's so interesting listening to you, Busara, because there's a few elements which are very similar to yours, in the sense that when I was in primary school, I went to Loreto Convent, Mombasa, and it was really good. I shout out to my teachers if they ever listen to this. But in my English class, we used to have the excerpts that we would read during the class, and you know, it would be like in a row or a column, and then like everyone would read. And I know that every time that I did read a story, I used to put like even emotions. I used to like, you know, and then everybody would be like, hey, Lucy. So listening to you say that, I'm like, there's similarities. And I'm like, okay, so there were early telltale signs that this is what I would eventually do. But then at that time, I really didn't accept it. I didn't, you know, jump right into media. On the contrary, I was at the time I worked so I worked through the primary school, went into high school, and then eventually I performed decently, and somehow society had said it that, if you're not doing engineering, medicine, doctor, you're not doing a pilot or whatever it is, those top of the range, then everything else is not meaningful. So I went for it. I was called in to do engineering, agricultural and biosystems engineering at one of the universities, and I was a government sponsored student, and so that obviously for my parents that was great, because that means school fees is subsidized, and I'm just want to shout out to the teachers who also contributed to that success. But you see, even in that time I wasn't thinking that eventually I'll get into the journalism space, so it had to take like an external force. In physics they say a body remains in its state of rest or continuous motion unless acted upon by an external force. I'm sorry, that's schoolwork. Oh my god, there we go. Right? And then it took intervention, and the first level of intervention was, people around me used to say, Lucy, you're really good at communicating. I like the way you speak, I like the way you communicate your ideas, you're lucid and fluent and whatnot. And I'd be like, but I still want to be an engineer because one day I'll make a lot of money. It was always about the money. It really was. But then there's also the element of fulfillment and being happy with what you're doing every day of your life for potentially the rest of your life. Because I think I once listened to Steve Jobs before he passed away, and he said that your career is like your partner that you choose. You choose something that you love and you're willing to do for the rest of your life. Right? So then, my family would tell me that, my friends would tell me that, and I'd be like, okay. And then one day, I got involved in this like sort of car accident. Right? No, it's fine. It's thank you though. And in that moment I had this sort of like, aha moment. I said to myself, okay, if I was to die today, if all the things that God had put aside for me to do that maybe were potentially, it's like my potential to achieve that I didn't do just because either I was afraid or either I was just like, shunning it and not giving it a fair chance. Like, would those things and those versions of me be looking and saying, Lucy, we're dying, we're in the grave because you didn't give us a chance. Just give it a chance, because sometimes it just takes stepping into it and trying. And I said, okay, fine. I've just want to say that in my second year I decided to leave, to drop out of school, and it's not because like I was doing badly or anything, not at all. In fact, the real reason why I stopped, I started getting involved in business. I was doing a network marketing sort of venture. I'm into business and real estate and investing and that kind of thing, so that's a topic for another day. Because I always try to I love personal development, and I believe in multiple streams of income. And so at the time, and I hope Carrie is not listening to this, oh my God,
come for you.
oh Lord, I mean, which ones are those? Which ones?
You are like intern. See, we know you're interning.
Yes,
I'm an intern. Never worked a day. Exactly. And so then as I was doing the network marketing thing and like meeting people, networking, learning about business, sales and follow up and whatnot, along the way I met more and more people who sort of boosted my confidence. And then now the accident happened shortly after that, and when I was in that hospital bed I said to myself, look, if this is what God, everyone has innately something that God has put into them 100%. That they need to tap into. You read some of these books, personal development, you listen to some of these speakers, and they say you have an advantage that you bought into this earth with, that you need to use, and like the universe will suddenly work for you to propel you. And the moment I made that decision, I kid you not, I went back to school, signed up at a different university, and in the first year, that's when I got the work at my first media station. So and that's the thing. So then I started working while I was in school, and by the time I was graduating, I was already entering an international media organization. So it's like God was just reminding me at that moment, like, look, I know the process is not always, it's never going to be a straight line. It's not smooth, but if you're doubting yourself, look, don't worry. I'm going to remind you that it's me who made you. So this is where you need to be. So this is how I ended up in this space. And I always say it's a God-given, like we who are in this, whichever space it is really, always go back and like do introspecting, think like, you know, what is it that I'm really good at? What can I do even if I was waking up in the middle of the night and then, you know, you were told, do it. Is it accounting? Is it architecture? Can you design a house? Like, that's crazy. And, you know, can you cook like so well that the president of, you know, you don't even have to think about it, you know? And that's where I was coming from. That gave me that assurance that, you know what, this is the space I'm coming into. So it was never really like, oh, you know, at a very young age. It's just that I needed that push. And that push led me into this space. So I'm curious about you ladies as well.
Even when you're talking about how you read, how you speak, like you see how you can listen to Lucy like this.
Right?
100%. Please continue. Keep speaking. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It truly is what I mean, you are meant to be in this space. Oh, okay. Me. So I knew I wanted to do this again, like I said in the previous episode, ever since I was 10. Because I remember 10 being a very distinct year because I was born and raised in West Pokot. I lot of people were like, what?
And we can't start telling you, you look like it.
No, because everyone's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I was born and raised in West Pokot, and they're like, but you went to an international school, Cindy? I'm like, no, I went to a public school, Chepareria.
Ile imeandikwa nyuma ya ID pale.
Chepareria Primary School. I was born in Chepareria. So we stayed there up until I was 10. It's when we moved to Kitale. So at 10, I think is when and then. But okay, I want to say, remember back then, you know, TVs, not everybody had a TV, but you guys, children, okay?
Just say it.
So back then, not everybody had a TV. And I remember before we bought ours, our neighbor had a TV, and Gioni, sisi wote, all the kids in the neighborhood, tulikuwa tunaita kwa landi. So as in the apartments,
sema tu estate,
something like that.
Watu wataelewa.
No, Kisema estate looks posh. It wasn't an estate. Okay. So we would gather to like watch on our TV, and then we would watch, and then I would see like this news anchors and presenters. Oh my gosh, and they speak so well. You know, they speak so. They're so calm. There's like the English is Englishing. And they're so beautiful, and the makeup. Oh my God. Okay, makeup then. Okay, because someone watches back and be like, "What do you mean?" Then they look really nice. So I remember one time I was like, "Oh my gosh, I would really want to do this." And not because the money was not a factor. I think based on the fact that they were just calm and you know, they would speak to people and they looked beautiful and all those things. So I wanted to experience that side. And also English was like my it was like my stronghold. Because in primary, shout out to Madam Dorcas.
Madam Dorcas.
Yes.
So like she was such a good teacher, but English was my favorite subject, and I'm not bragging, I would get 100 out of 100.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Or nikianguka sana around 98. So what the teachers would do is they would mark my sleep kwanza and then use it as
marking scheme
for the rest of the ninis.
You're blessed.
I love that. I love that.
I enjoyed English, and also both my parents are teachers. So my mom is a teacher, my dad is a teacher, and you know, so they would help us with like homework and all those things. My dad, hi dad, hey, time ya homework ati unasoma English, she went to the nasipa ya mkono,
read properly,
ruler na si ruler ya this side, it's this side. Hiyo nini unasoma? She went to the market. So like size, it looked like, oh my gosh, what was that? But kitab, that helped. Like that helped to help us to like read, you know, converse in English, like make sentences that make sense, you know, and all those things. So I would say that plus the teacher and now the interest is what sort of like fueled me to get into this space. Now my dad wanted me to be a lawyer. Although honestly, in hindsight, I think I would do law because I love law.
You would make a good lawyer.
Oh, thank you.
You would.
Maybe
You argue like one. Like, leave us alone. Why you strict?
So and up until like I follow up with like law things and you know series on law and all those things. I enjoy it. I really genuinely do. So my dad wanted me to be one, and then I remembered in school for 7 years. Where it's never that serious. So I was like, nope. My mom wanted me to be a nurse. Also, but no, I'm too empathetic. Like ati kitu ikiwa kwa macho yako alafu niambie nisaidie kutoa, I won't, because I'm like I can't do it. So nursing was out of the question. So they told me, Basi, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a teacher? I'm like, absolutely not. I love teachers, but I don't think I have the calling to be a teacher, because for you it's a calling.
It is.
So they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want me nataka kuwa kwa TV. That's what I said. And then so I would read letters, you know, vile mko anasema like Bible study. So we would do the daily devotion, and so ningesoma hizo Bible verses I would be given. So I would read all those things, and then I would read letters, because I seem like too old.
Letters zenye uliandikiwa na boyfriend ama
no, my grandma's letters.
Okay.
Yes, it's important to put that clarity.
So I would read her letters as well. And then I was also curious, I think. So I loved to read like the story sections of the newspapers, you know, and all those things. So I would read that. I would try to do like crossword puzzles. Like I loved anything ya kusoma. You know, I would do that. And I think I do that up. Like I'm just curious to read and see, hey, what's happening uku, what's happening uko. So I think that also helped, like sharpen, you know, my I'll say wheat. And also like have a broader perspective of what is happening outside, like in the other parts of the world that is not Chepareria, that is not Trans Nzoia, that is not Tigoi, because Tigoi is where my grandma is, in Vihiga. So like outside of the world. So and then I wanted to I maintained that. So my dad tried to convince me. I'm like, no. So I strictly knew this is what I wanted to do. Then got to that point where sasa mnaenda college, mnaenda universities, and he's like, do you still want to do this? I'm like, I really want to. And then he's like, okay, but unajua hakuna kazi. You know, saizi kila mtu anaingia into the media space, you know, and all those things. Hakuna kazi, uta hustle sana. How about do this, and then later on, if you still want to do media, you can. Mimi nakwambia, unaile najua this is what I want to do. So I told him, no, let me try. Ikinishinda, I promise I'll come back, and then we figure out. He's like, okay, cool. Then I went to school, studied, and here I am today. And I tell people, for me, so this is not a job for me. This is like passion, because I go on set, and the set is my safe space. Like I forget everything else. I can't tumekosana ati sijui na any of us, I'm the producers, I'm a director, whatnot. I forget that, and I go on set like just a normal person, you know, go on set, but I come out of set more energized than I went in. And everyone was like, umeongea for 2 hours on set, why do you still have this much energy? I'm like, I don't know.
That's where you
I
get
just like
it
it.
from.
Or I even forget that tulikuwa tumekosa. I'm like, hi Robi, and then Robi's like, na si tulikuwa tumekosa. I'm like, and I forget. So I genuinely enjoy this. Now I don't have like a plan B. But, if you were not doing this, what would you be doing?
Look at you now.
Right?
What are you doing?
God has been good.
Robi. I knew from the word go, this is what I wanted to do.
Okay. So for me, you know, like I love languages to date. I think at the moment I can understand more than 6 or 7 tribes.
Who is
That's amazing.
Nice.
That's amazing.
I am a Bantu, but I can understand tribes that are not even Bantu.
Nice.
So growing up, I loved languages, and I think I got it from my dad. Sometimes we are not from the coast, but my dad understands Swahili from Kitambo. Like when you speak, he wants you to speak. If it's English, speak the right amount of English, you know. If you are speaking Swahili, speak the fluent Swahili. Why do you, I don't know, Sheng, imenishinda. Even being in Nairobi for a very long time, imekata kabisa. So if I'm speaking English, it's English. If it's Swahili, it's Swahili. Or the mix of both, but on the fluentish side. So basically, for us, we've grown up in different places because of my dad's career. And I remember going to school when mkifunga shule, my dad used to tell us, okay, tell us what you did. The only things I remember that I used to do is reciting poems. Like hata ukiniuliza mlisoma nini, me I might forget what I read in the books, but the poems, the solo verses, the the recitals, I could remember those things really well. So that's the only thing I could do in front of my dad, my parents, my siblings, and everyone is so happy. And they're like, you're doing it so well, you're confident. And I'm glad they didn't try to zima it. My dad was okay. Like, next time when you're talking, don't open your mouth too wide. Like, you will try, just as an example. Like, try now, be calm. Put it like you're talking to someone. Don't over recite. Don't be too excited with what you're doing. Then over time, also you watch the news and you're like, this is what I think. This is what my dad was telling me to do. Talk to someone. It's like you're communicating something. So I also tried to join journalism clubs in school. Like, that's where I was kind of leaning towards most of the time. The drama festivals I never missed. When it comes to, I liked singing, I liked dancing, I liked recitals. So I kept at that. At some point, I remember in primary, I was a prefect, a library prefect. So it helped me nurture the love for language. So in high school, also now high school, we had clubs. So you do journalism clubs, you do what club? That's just where you would find me naturally. So for me, it wasn't about being on TV at that point, even up to high school. But I knew I wanted to do something with communication, talking to people and listening to people's. I love stories. I like listening to people's stories. So when I was finishing high school, that's when the conversation about career begins. What do you want to do? I knew I would either be, I don't know why, but I've never understood. I wanted to be an air hostess. I don't know why.
I think you would
no, because she's a model.
You would actually.
I used to model. Yes, I used to model, but I didn't think, why did I want to be an air hostess? I think I used to see them carrying
the suitcases.
That's so nice. They look so nice.
Wow.
So my dad was like, what do you want to do? I told him I want to do either I want to be an air hostess, or I want to go to the media, or I want to be a nurse.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
I liked nursing for some reason, but I was not very good in sciences.
Sciences.
I was an average
What was
student.
that?
Yeah. I didn't like. I did hate sciences, but I was not very good at it. So I was like, I don't know. So my two choices were air hostess or media.
Okay.
When I finished school, my dad was actively trying to look for schools that would either take me to do to be an air hostess or journalism. At that point, when I was joining college, there was no intake for air hostess. So automatically, that was out.
Journalism,
Right.
Okay.
Immediately, my dad came back and told, the applications for media, whatever, you've been taken to go to Multimedia University. I'm like, there we go. So automatically, I went to Multimedia University of Kenya. And my journey was interesting. I was happy. Like, I felt at home.
Right.
Yeah. And then I felt like seeing how people in the media dressed, women in the media industry dressed, the hair. Kitambo, it was different from what we are having now, but you could tell there's some level of sophistication, there's some level of femininity. You know, it was just nice. And I'm like, I feel at home. And the love has never died.
Nakwambia uliposema Multimedia University of Kenya nikasema and that is where we met. Me and this girl. Nakwambia tulikuwa petite.
Hey, my lord.
Young girl, pretty girl. Okay. Now that tumefika hapo, tumesikia safari zenu zote. Kusema ile ukweli, mmezungumza kuhusu TV ama radio. Mimi nilikuwa nikiambiwa wazazi wangu ama watu wa kule kwetu kwamba ningependa kwa TV. Walikuwa wanasema TV, wewe ushaona mpokomo wapi kwa TV moja? Wananiambia unaona vile watu wa TV ni warembo wewe. Unaona utafika bei. Nikamwambia basi si lazima ndio TV. Nitenda radio si sauti mnataka na sauti nzuri niko nayo ya kupendeza. Huko ndo nitaenda. So sikujua siku moja nitakuwa kwa TV. Lakini nimeingia kwa TV.
Doing well.
Na by the way hata hii TV ilikuwa nasema tu achende njaribu. Hivyo tu unaingiana. Na sasa hivi vile tunaongelelea kuhusu kuingia katika kutoka shule kuingia katika vyumba vya habari, pengine ningependa kujua pia hiyo transition. Na pengine nikiangazia, unaona kama upande wangu, nilipoingia multimedia nilikuwa naona kabisa mimi of course nitakuwa msomaji, nataka kuwa msomaji either wa radio ama wa TV, lakini radio mostly. So nikaendelea kusoma nikiwa hapo multimedia, alafu baadaye ikafika wakati wa internship, nikabahatika nikapata internship mara ya kwanza. Alafu ukiingia internship unaweza vunjika moyo, maana yake mnaambiwa ati tunataka kuingia kwa TV, not now.
Mtakaka.
I know. So my first tunaruhusiwa kutaja mahali ambapo tulifanya kazi ama
we will have to edit that and
I know tusitaje.
Our the information is out there, so they can always go and like research.
So after internship nilipata hiyo ya radio. Kumaliza internships nilirudi nikamaliza shule, nikapata hiyo ya radio yenye nilikuwa natarajia. Juu TV nilikuwa najua ni hapo juu na sijui nitafikaje, lakini radio nilikuwa najua naweza fika. So nikabahatika nikiwa internship, kuna radio station mpya ilikuwa inafunguliwa. So wakawa wanaingia tu newsroom, wanasema guys ili chini ya maji tu, kuna radio station inafunguliwa na itakuwa ya Kiswahili. Tunatafuta reporters, tunatafuta anchors, tunatafuta. So if you know you have what it takes, kila mtu achukue script. So if you want to be a reporter, chukua script ya reporter and of voice kama reporter. Akizungumza katika maeneo hayo sijui nini zile then if you want to anchor, unaenda una voice test kama anchor. Ujambo na karibu, jina langu ni Busara Naaman. Hivyo naambia ama ni saa moja juu ya alama vile, yani pretend like you are an anchor, and then unaeka hapo voice test yako, unaeka anchor, and then you wait. So kwa sababu I was not sure, nilifanya screen test, voice test ya anchor na voice test ya reporter, ndio nikimiss moja nipate ingine. And uzuri nikapata zote. Zote sasa unajua siku hizi ukiandikwa hauandikwi moja, lazima ukue zote. So ukipata nafasi una report, wakati wako kwa anka unaanka. Na hivyo ndo niliingia katika, kwa hivyo jani yangu ilianza media, upande wa radio.
Interesting.
And then after like 2.5 years nikasema this is it. I was like, so kazi yangu kila siku kwenda tu pale kusema basi saa moja saa za Afrika Mashariki, hujambo na karibu. Sasa nimeshikilia script zangu hapo karatasi. So nikasema let me try TV. Kulikuwa na mahali kampuni moja ilikuwa inatafuta anchors wa Kiswahili na ilikuwa TV. So nikaamua niende nijaribu. Kukuwa na information ni muhimu, you guys. Mimi nilienda kama nimeshuka lines, god, na ni screen test
tulikuwa naye.
Nimeshuka lines, nimevaa dress nyingine hapo, nimevaa viatu zingine hapo, lakini kitu liniokoa pengine ni sauti yangu. Na kwa sababu nimekuwa nikisoma taarifa, sikosei sana, niko fluent, najua kukaribisha watu, najua kupeleka watu mapumzikoni. Maana yake nakumbuka baada yangu kuna mwingine aliingia, anafanya screen test, anaambiwa introduce the show and then do the first 2 story then go for a break. Akajaribu karibu nini, akasoma story ya kwanza, story ya pili akaambiwa go for a break, akashuka kwa kiti na akaenda. Anaambiwa hey go for a break.
Oh my goodness. Don't go.
Badala aseme tuchukue mapumziko mafupi na tutarejea ama tuelekee madukani, tukirejea tutakuwa tunakujuza mengi zaidi. She walked out of the set thinking that taking a break
is you going.
Yes, because god.
But anyway, tulibahatika tukaenda kwa screen test. Licha kuwa hatukuwa tunakaa vizuri, tulipata hiyo job. Lakini kuanzia hiyo siku I learned my lesson. Maana hata hii job niko nayo sasa hivi walipoitisha screen test, nilitengeneza wigi, nikapaka makeup wewe full, ni kama ambaye naenda, yani ni kama we are doing the real thing. I looked for the best dress ambayo inafanya na pop, ambayo inanifanya na stand out, alafu with my authoritative voice nikahakikisha kwamba nitaitumia vizuri. And nilifanya hiyo screen tests, and when I was out everyone was asking who is that?
Screen test kama umekuja kazi.
Lakini acha nikwambie, unaona vile Busara anasema hiyo ya kwanza hakuwa na wig, hakuwa nayo. Kama ni yako ni yako. Unaona inatupeleka kwa the last episode that we had. It's not, you don't have to give something, you don't have to look a certain way. If someone has seen that potential, you'll have it.
So Busara, when you say you weren't prepared, so I prepared like nobody's business. So I remember I used to stay with my aunt at that time, and she had just delivered, so alikuwa na newborn, and so we used to have this microwave sterilizer. A.K.A, I thought if she watches this episode she would laugh because So it would like sterilize the baby's bottles. That thing was ginormous. Yeah. So someone was like, yeah, see, we're going to, so because my first audition was an infomercial. We used to sell stuff on TV. If you know the OGs.
Yes. I know.
Okay. We'll sell phones, we'll sell fridge, we'll sell everything. We'll sell even a person. So I prepared like nobody's business. I took that micro sterilizer. Nilisoma. Eh? And then so then we went for the audition. So me I carried a nilibeba. And then we got there, wengine wakaenda. So everybody's like, what are you carrying?
What is
like
this
thing? I'm like, you don't worry. Hi, my turn. Ikafika. Kaenda for, hi, my name is Winnie Lubembe, blah, blah. And today we'll be selling this microbe sterilizer by this company. And it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. It has like 8 different compartments where you can fit your bottles. You don't have to, no longer have to boil your baby's, bottles, ninis, germs, nini. And then once you're done, where? Mimi niliuza hiyo kitu. Let me tell you. Kama tuko hiyo siku zingeenda zote. And that was it. I just did one audition. And I got the job. That was it. And because we had others when you walikuwa wamekuja for the second and the third round of the auditions. And so when you talked about like you need just have some information first of all about the role that you're going to audition for, and number 2, just prepare for that. And that is one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is you unaenda tu sikumekuwa na audition twende mnabebana nyinyi wote, and then you might end up missing up on an opportunity just not because you're not good at but because you did not prepare for that. So that taught me up until now. Every time there's an audition, I'm being called for an audition, I prepare like nobody's business. Kama ni makeup, just do your fanya ni kama unaenda
kwa screen,
like legit,
do that legit kabisa, because then that will show the people it's not just what you say but also you look the part on whatever it is that you're doing. So and I learned that lesson. But you see, at that time don't nimetoka to college, like sina hata makeup, sina anything, and my aunt is like 2 or 3 or 5 shades lighter than me. Mi nani nilichukua
makeup yake
mpaka hivyo bonene kama mweupe uko mbele.
You gave
my
it a
gosh,
try.
yeah. But so sometimes we look back and we laugh and visually say, that microbe sterilizer, that one. At Apaka, I said, when I get babies, I promise I will buy that
one
brand.
Robi, tell us something about your first either voice test or screen test.
Okay, all right. So basically for me, I did my diploma first, then I did my degree. So in school, we had a particular teacher called Mrs. Catherine Mohatia.
I know her.
I think most people in the media industry either wanamjua because she's been around for quite a while. She used to dress like the way she dressed. You would tell she's teaching people to be in the media industry.
Nice.
So if you're a lady and you're in her class, you either start dressing the part or you'll just have a hard time because she'll call you out. Like, why are you dressing like this? Okay. You should start preparing to be in that space. So the way you're saying, so for me, I started wanting to dress like a media personality since I was in campus. Look for the nice dresses. Even if you go to the Mtumba, look for nice dresses. And they were quite unique, actually.
Really
you
nice
didn't
ones,
have to buy the
Yeah.
expensive dresses and all that. I and it also nurtured a different part of me that maybe people will know about it later. So I would go look for dresses, look for heels from Mtumba, the nice ones, so that when I go to that class, I go there like I want to be in the media space. If I'm told to present something in front of people, I look the part. So when even I was going for my internship interview, I was dressed like an anchor. Nywele ilikuwa backward kidogo, but
But at least
I knew I have my natural hair. Good Lord, it was nice. So I had combed my hair nicely. I used to do my makeup. If you go back to my previous photos, I look at them and I'm like, this was makeup.
What was happening?
But that time,
It was
that
makeup.
time,
That looked
hakuna kitu ungeza niambia. I'm in makeup. So going for the interview, I was told to present. I remember that interview. I was interviewed by older people who really wanted to see what is this young girl bringing to the table. So I presented. I was told there's at the airport and you're there live.
Now report
For us. You're going, hey, my God. Hey, It was pressure, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
I did it. They were actually impressed. They asked me if I could do both English and Swahili. I did both languages, and that was it. I got my chance as an intern, and that was after my degree, actually. Really? During my diploma, let me give you a story, guys.
What happened?
You're not ready.
Hey.
Yeah.
When I was going to do my diploma internship, now we were called. You send your CVs and whatever from the school. You're told to send whatever. I don't know what papers you were sending. I sent. Actually, nilikuwa nimekaa. Most of my classmates had already gotten their attachments. I hadn't gotten mine. The opportunity I got was for sports. Guys, I know nothing about sports.
Lord.
At that point.
I can understand.
So I was called.
Yeah.
I can't forget. I think I can just mention the name. Mike Okinyi is famous.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys know
The
Mike
sports
Okinyi.
guy. I know
The
him.
sports guy.
Yeah.
So he called me. Robi, we've seen your papers. And you're from Multimedia, yes. We've gotten all your papers from Multimedia University. You're looking for internship, yes. So tell us which game is being played today. I don't know which game. In fact, that day, I had gone for a modeling auditions.
Yeah.
So I'm there standing with guys tunangoja ku audition for modeling. I'm asking guys. So I'm shouting so that they help me to say which games are being played that day.
Yeah.
Mike Okinyi was laughing. He was just laughing. Then after he's done, some I was getting right, some I was getting wrong. You're asking me about Gor Mahia players. I'm like, what are you saying? After he's done, I told him, Mike, I know nothing about sports, but I'm very passionate about media. And media is about asking questions, learning, and delivering. And that one, I promise you, I can do it. So just give me that chance.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my internship as a sports intern.
Wow.
I believe I did well under the leadership of
Sasa
kina
leo ni game
Mike.
gani inacheza?
Mike Okinyi, wachana mimi. Kina Bernard Ndong, kina Waihiga Mwaura, they met and they helped me grow. Like it didn't have to do with sports directly, because you might be even in these other spaces. The reason I've mentioned that, you can be doing something, but it's nurturing your career. Because either way, if you're a reporter, you're a reporter. You're not that at sports now you can't learn anything. It helped me now to even forge ahead. And the fact that you can agree to learn that space, it means these others will just be a walk in the park.
In the park.
True.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now as I think about it, like how did I get into? So now finally I'm in the school. I'm studying for journalism. First years come by. The same university has launched a media station, and they come to they call all the journalism students. We sit in the hall and they tell us what they're looking for. They say they want to pick 4 people, and those 4 people, in order for you to be selected, you need to come up with a package, something creative, or do anything, reportage. And so I think to myself, look, I'm not going to do what everyone else is going to do. So everyone else would probably be thinking along the lines of around the school, what can we do? Go get the cameras and shoot. So I remembered I was also an alumnus of this YALI, which is Young African Leaders Initiative. So I went through the program, and I knew that they were having an event that was coming up at the time, and it was for entrepreneurship and that sort of thing. So I thought I want to see whether I can tap into those contacts and see whether I can report on that day's event and just put together something, also practice my editing skills, and then submit that as my package. And as fate would have it, I submitted that, and I the person who was the liaison of the university said to me, Lucy, you did something that was good. It was it stood out from the rest of the students. They were doing, because remember, this is first year into second year. So in first year you're thinking like, okay, I'll just go stand somewhere. So you want to be thinking out of the box, and you want to push yourself, right? And then when he said that to me, he said, okay, fine, so you're going to be one of the people we'll take on board, and so you'll have to think about how you'll balance school and work. And I got excited. always when you get that excitement, you need to ride on it, right? And keep on using it to, get your creative juices flowing. And from that moment on, I said, why do I need to stop here at just that one package to sort of try and get this job? Then I decided to open a YouTube channel at that time. And I spoke to my colleagues, my colleagues now, they'll be students, right? Spoke to my fellow schoolmates or students, said, hey, let's do this. So we started doing a talk show from the comfort of my home. And then we do talk about issues like, sponsors. We talk about what you even just very foolish topics, only because I was like, we need to be creating so that anytime I go in front of an employer, I'm like, you can go check out my YouTube channel. I'm doing, I'm learning, I'm getting more exposure, I'm doing stuff and all that kind of stuff. So finally, when the station branded, launched, and officially did everything, they brought in the official CEO of the company, and then he called me into the office and said, Lucy, I'm giving you the job, so will you accept it? But this is the pay.
Okay.
And the pay, well, But then I said to myself, okay, let me think here, right? I'm still in school, right? And I get to still learn and come here and get exposure. But I was doing several programs. I had like a daily show. I had a business daily show. I had like a weekend all access program. That's events. So I'd go to events and talk to these celebrities, and I'm like, and my camera person at the time, I'd be like, who is this one called? Because I really didn't know. But I wanted to be like everywhere and do everything, because I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna fit in best. Right? And then I'm like, if they send me out to do like a politics story, I'm like, oh, okay, so what is it that I missed? I really wanted, but I wasn't afraid to ask. And I wasn't ashamed, because I'm like, you can't pretend to know everything. You learn. So that's how, sort of transitioning in. And then I just got better at doing it, just kept practicing. And that's like sort of in a nutshell.
And
right?
I think at Robi, like we started out, and Busara as well, we started out, we just almost at this point, it's like we've done everything. Because see, for me, like when I started, so the infomercial show, so like I said, we would sell anything and everything on TV. Okay, not anything and everything, but pretty much
products,
mini products, on TV, right? And we used to make this joke and say we are hawkers on TV. Like we're sophisticated hawkers. We sell these things on TV. And then after that, I did a family show. I did a lifestyle show. I anchored news. I reported. The only thing I didn't do. I also produced shows, directed shows, scripted for shows, and all. Like I did all those things. And now looking back, I'm like, you know what? I actually attribute, I would say, my success to the beginning of my career, because then doing all these things, first of all, helped me to understand, so what are my strengths, where do I fit best, and also just learning how to multitask. So speak, yes, but the director is in your ear, and you also have to think about and especially for the selling part thing, because 5 seconds and you have not convinced me why I need to buy this phone. I'm going to, So that taught me the art of sort of like, I think I would say convincing, so helped me to communicate better within a specific period of time, to the people. So I think what I'm trying to say is, do not despise humble beginnings. Because it teaches. Oh my gosh.
It sets the precedence.
It does. It really does.
Talking about doing everything, like for me, I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be an entertainment host or presenter. Kama vile our very own baby girl Aziza Hashim.
We'll actually have how
big nilipokuwa naanza, nilikuwa nafanya kipindi cha watoto radio. So nilikuwa na watoto ama naenda shule, nilikuwa naenda kama shule na watoto wakifanya memory verse, mashairi, they sing, they dance hivyo and other things. Alafu apart from that, nilikuwa nasoma news na nilikuwa na report. Baadaye nikahama nikaanza kufanya entertainment like music, and that station was a rumba station. Nakumbuka I had no idea about rumba, but tuliambiwa kila mtu anunue flash disk, tuwekewe playlist, and at home you have to listen to rumba, because there's no way.
I know.
Radio watu wasikilizaji wanakupigia hello. Nilikuwa najiita Toto la Malkia, by the way. Naambia niite Busara Naaman, ukipenda niite Toto la Malkia. Niko hapa kupa burudani na si burudani tu bali ni burudani la rumba.
Moto.
Sasa msikilizaji anakuambia hello Busara nakupigia kutoka Pusia. Tafadhali niwekee jibe mpiana.
Sasa huyo nani?
Mwingine anakuambia niwekee Franco Luambo Makiadi. Hujui nyimbo hata moja. Nasikia niwekee Madilu System ama Fali Ipupa. So unaambiwa go and listen, watch, so that ukipigiwa you know, ama mara nyingine tu ukiulizwa jina ama the song akianza kuimba you can finish it. Unaona something so we had to learn to listen to that. Alafu pia another thing nilipoenda TV pia we had to do everything. Hata sasa doing everything which yani kila kitu mpaka lakini thank God sasa bado nafanyanga entertainment kidogo but lakini news ndio main. Alafu another thing my mentor at the time alikuwa ananiambia Busara usifanye entertainment because according to him entertainment haina longevity especially if you are planning to be a mother early, you are planning to get married and settle down, it will be hard for you because entertainment inataka si tu umeingia leo kwa show entertainment alafu kesho uko na mimba uko na mtoto mchanga umeenda maternity and then show inabidi to stop juu yako unaona. So aliniambia heri ukiingia entertainment wewe ujue after 10 years chances are you'll be replaced by a younger beautiful girl than you unless ukuwe umezaa mapema umefunga chapter so you maintain the girl and the style and ukuwe free to travel because entertainment is about kuna show inafanyika Kisumu you have to go so aliniambia maintain to news kwa sababu news unaweza hata watoto 10 utaendelea tu kusoma na matani warudi ukirudi ni hujambo na karibu jina langu ni Busara Naaman
itapigwa bado
na kipindi kitaendelea unaona so as we continue I would like to know mnamfuatilia katika media ni mtu gani ambaye unamfuatilia kama mimi acha nianze mimi Mwana Hamisi Hamadi my goodness I look at her and I'm like I want to be you but then you can't be her you have to try and be you but then ufuate zile attributes zako nazo because she's so calm she reads news so well she doesn't shout yani I just love her I don't know so tusikie nyinyi wengine mnafuatilia nani
the people that I sort of like introduced me into this like quote unquote introduced because those are the people I watched when I was younger was the late Winnie Lubembe my namesake like she was you know like she was calm she would Busara's like she was a child then children I know she was children so Winnie Lubembe and then Isha Sese at that time when I was like in college I used to loved her still love her and also Yvonne Okwara like Yvonne Okwara is like on my biggest list right now because she is just a symbol of authority and I think that is what Yvonne is Yvonne like that's just love
period
period is Yvonne and oh gosh I just love so I love like not too much drama. There's so much happening again in our lives and I think this is one of the conversations that we'll also have like as women in media, how then do we balance life and work and the fact that we're out here you know, but I love the fact that Yvonne is just Yvonne you know true like I don't even know how else to explain it but I just I do I really love her
I want to pick up from Yvonne because I really see you said it already authoritative when it comes to journalism itself the and essence quality. Of it exactly fact checking you know giving coming from a place of research and then backing that up and you can see the years of hard work in every single word that she utters so I think that she's very admirable for me as well and even like now I know we're talking about females but also for males I want to believe and I want to say that locally I really like because now I've gotten to work with him I like Wahiga's style because honestly he's the best he's incredible I just want to say he's so many things I learned from him and I see how he is and his reputation as well like precedes him like honestly you meet other people who worked with him and it's really the same and you can see that this is years work that has gone into it, and that's very admirable.
Yeah.
And then now when I look at internationally, like somebody from like right now, obviously she's not actively in the media space, but I really I used to sort of like see snippets of, and I used to listen to a lot of her speaks and her talks and her journey and where she's come from and who she is now, and I really relate, or I have similar experiences to what she had, and maybe we'll talk about that another time. Is Oprah. I really like Oprah Winfrey so much. And
There's so much that you can
and I would love to one day meet her.
Same, girl.
We all would.
We all would one day.
Yeah, we might host her
right?
One day.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
some of those
Oprah
conversations
too.
have been very impactful over the years.
Yeah.
And then as well, one of the things that I liked about her is how real and honest that she's been with herself. Like she said, like some of the stories, the reason why she couldn't maybe go into sort of reportage and was a better fit in hosting per se, and listening to other people's experiences. And it goes back to me thinking also about like, where do you fit in best? Because just because you're in journalism and media doesn't mean you also have to be just a reporter, or you have to be a presenter and report. Like you sometimes we impose, and it's true because the space right now just says you have to be able to do, you have to be bilingual, you have to be an editor as well. If you can shoot as well, like everything, just bombard that on you. But I feel like also the international media space is different. They also really value and respect when you have niched down and you kind of have that voice in whatever that area is, and that can be very powerful. And I wish we could do more of that even in our sort of local space.
Robi,
all right, for
you.
me, of course, you've mentioned Oprah, but when I look at local media personalities that I've watched and liked and admired from a very young age, Julie Gishuru.
Oh, yes.
How can we forget about her?
Yeah, absolutely. God,
So,
wow.
Julie Gishuru is someone I really respect in the industry. And then there is one Janet Mbogwa. Who does amazing work.
Yes.
Yeah, those are
Absolutely.
people, when I look at the journey,
Absolutely.
their journeys and how they do their job and what they do, for me, it's not just the people we see. It also boils down to the impact that they have
100%.
to the community, to the young girl out there, to the people who are watching them on screen and out of screen.
Yeah, I
So-
love that.
Janet Mbugo. Oh my gosh! So there's the time I hosted her one of my shows, and I was like, so when I was calling her like to come for the interview, so I was like, "Hi Janet, my name is Winnie Lubembe. I'm calling you from so and so." And then oh gosh, she's like nice and polite, and so she listened. She's like, "Oh Winnie, oh nice to speak to you," and she's like, "You have a really nice voice." I'm
And
like,
what
"It's
about
good."
hers?
So winning at that level.
Those are the people.
We should be
Sorry, I
winding
just
up.
want to add on to that. Like, that is so, yeah. Sorry, I
After
just.
the show, she said, "You're such a good host." I'm
That's exactly what we want to hear.
Okay.
I just also wanted to add into that, and I'm really sorry that I'm circling back.
It's okay.
But it's Caroline Mutoko. She really comes. She is.
Oh my
she
God.
is. How can we not mention?
Yes,
Oh my God.
Caroline.
Yeah.
And for me, it's so many things. But just like, first of all the years that she's been in like radio, and even now transitioning into that sort of digital space, it's very admirable.
Yes.
But anytime she walks into a room, I think you just
You
feel that
feel her
presence.
presence.
And she's just unapologetically Carol.
I love it. I love it.
Do what
Love
you want
it.
to do with that
Yeah,
information.
absolutely.
But I am Caroline Motoko, and
Yes.
that's it. Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
I
go
know we
ahead,
should
Busara.
finish by
Yeah,
actually
this is
telling people
when we
what
should start
do
the
now.
podcast now. Can we
And as
redo?
we wind up, what do we do now?
Yeah.
What's your interest? You're now in the media space.
Yeah.
What interests you in this media?
Oh.
Okay, fine. So did almost everything, but I enjoy hosting the most. I what anchor news, I can anchor news. I'd love to do that, but I just enjoy hosting, like speaking to different people and getting their different views and perspectives and how they see things and their stories as well, and also sharing their stories. So I enjoy hosting, but also like in the health, and lifestyle, as oh gosh, love that, enjoy that. Yes.
Me too. I
Yeah.
enjoy hosting.
Yeah.
And right now unapata at where I'm working right now, sana najipata katika masuala ya siasa kwa sababu wale ambao wanafanya kazi wakubwa wangu hata mwandani wangu anahisi kwamba nafanya vizuri sana katika masuala ya siasa, manake kuna vile ambavyo huwa nafanya kazi yangu, maswali ambayo ninauliza na jinsi ninavyo present, wanaona kwamba
that is your strength.
But another thing that I do naturally, ambayo inakuja naturally, so easy to do, it's entertainment. So I do an entertainment show, napata na watoto, napata na wazima, wasanii, wachoraji, talanta tofauti, so I find it fun to do that. So hosting is good.
It's good. I do enjoy that too.
As we wind up,
time.
We can okay, yes, go ahead.
All right. So basically for me, I love health. Maybe that's why I wanted to be a nurse. I don't know. Some people call me daktari, sijakuwa daktari. Maybe I'll one day go that direction. But I love talking about or creating awareness about diseases, about conditions, rare diseases, about health matters.
Interesting that we actually do this.
And things that affect people directly. I lean towards humanitarian stories, and when I talk to people about humanitarian things, maybe also because of the community that I come from, maybe one day I'll talk about it, where FGM is rampant, up to date. So it has made me lean more towards humanitarian stories, and that's my comfort zone. I do it. I can wake up today and say, I can talk about anything on the humanitarian level.
Yes,
and matters
that's
health.
really good.
Lucy.
And for me, it's just really when it comes to like speaking, impacting and speaking to young people or other people who are in, at a decision point of their careers, because I feel like that's a part of my story that I deeply went through and had to go back and forth. I feel like one thing because communication is a bigger and broader sort of space, right? And that could mean like being an MC, being corporate MC or motivating people, being a speaker. So being a speaker for me also would be something that I would transition onto, in addition to being in the space as a presenter and a host. I feel like I wouldn't be tied down to only that space, because eventually we all want to grow to something. And I'm really passionate about things relating to investment and business and stuff like that. So that would be as and I'm in the learning process of it, but it would be really good to like, first of all, get it right, and then teach others how to build and create financial freedom and time freedom as well. So
guys,
all right,
come to the end.
More time.
We have a lot. Nani tulikuwa tunataka kujua vile tulikuwa tunafikiria media iko na vile media ipo sahihi, lakini tutakuwa na muda wa kuzungumzia.
Itakuja.
Talk about it later. So matarajio yetu,
also given a chance, would we still
choose to be here? I know.
That'll be interesting.
I'll talk about it wakati mwingine, lakini sasa hatuna budi jamani kufunga kwa sasa. Nawashukuru kwa kuwa nasi kuanzia mwanzo mpaka sasa tunamaliza. Mimi ni Busara Naaman, Lucy Riley, Robi Omondi, Winnie Lubembe, na niwaambie kitu hapo kwenye kamera jamani, wapiga picha wetu Marcus na Dante. Thank you.